with the Canadian situation, there won't be any oversight of whether after the COPs...
We're out today as part of ECAWAR, Edmonton Coalition Against War and Racism, and we've been around Edmonton for quite some time. We first established ourselves in 2002, 2003, leading up to the Iraq invasion by the US-UK and their associated countries. And today we're trying to highlight the Bill C-51. That is the anti-terrorist bill that the Harper government has brought in, is attempting to make legal in this country. Across the country there's been a lot of protests against it. In fact, I haven't seen anybody who agrees with the bill except the Tories themselves, and they're not making a very good case for themselves. And what is Bill C-51? Well, it is what is the anti-terrorist bill. It's like the columnist and journalist Michael Harris says, it is whatever Harper says it is. So it is so vague that we feel that many of us could be pulled in under this bill. And there's no need of it because the legislation is already in place, and it is another fear-mongering and propaganda to win votes for the next federal election, which we know will be in 6 months' time. So that's why I'm out here today. I'm just another concerned citizen who thinks that it's important to stand up for democracy in our country and to be a participant in that democracy. We can't just be a bystander. We can't just close our eyes to it. That's all we have is our vote and our determination as a country to try and put this country back on tracks again. We were one of the best countries in the world, up to with number 1, number 2, and where did that happen? And it's not by any accident. It's ideology, and we have to stop it. Thank you.
Well, I'm here in support of everyone else who's here against C-51 and the problematic bill that it is.
And why are you concerned about Bill C-51?
I think mainly it's the lack of oversight that we see in the current legislation. As it stands right now, CSIS is going to be given a lot more expansive powers, the ability not just to gather intelligence but to also act out in using that intelligence. So, you know, there's a lot of other things in there, but I think in general, to sum it up in layman's terms, is we're just trying to excuse my dog here. We're just trying to make sure that our privacy is ensured and that we as Canadians aren't giving up the freedoms that we hold closely.
We're here today because when the Premier says that Albertans are to blame for the budget mess that we're facing right now, we know who's really responsible, and it's not Albertans. It's the people in that building in particular. The real culprits for our fiscal mess are the Conservatives themselves. So we're here today to hold mirrors up to the legislature, the House where the Conservatives sit. So if the Conservatives want to know who's really responsible for our province's budget mess, it's not Albertans, it's not public sector workers or the services that they provide. The real culprits are the Conservatives themselves, and we're sending them that message today that they're not going to get away with it.
One more time, we are listening to the Tory government choose their game plan out of the Ralph and Rod playbook, and we did it before. We will not do it again. So, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is not the fairest of them all?
And we're here to let
the government know that if anyone is to blame for the predicament we're in, they should look in the mirror, not the ordinary people who've been following along like sheep to their guidance and direction, paying the taxes that they required and suffering the cutbacks and suffering from the eventual and now actual demise of our oil-dependent economy. So we hope that those folks inside who are just coming back from their lunch will get indigestion at the thought of all of the Albertans just anxious and anticipating a chance to vote them out of office.
Yay! It's not, don't blame the victims. Don't blame the victims. What more can you say?
Yes.
Have you organized this?
Yeah, well, pretty much, you know, I organized this because the legislature's back in session, and I want to try and see if Prentice will pass by and actually give him a chance to look at himself in the mirror, because, you know, the government should be the blame, not all Albertans.
Oh, all right.
Brings you here today?
Well, a number of issues. The main thing is we're here in solidarity with women and all those who identify as women. And I mean, there are a number of issues. We were just talking about the wage inequality that exists here in Alberta. That's a huge one. But in particular, I think violence against women and the fact that in a country like Canada, we've got more than 1,200 missing and murdered Indigenous women, and our government has failed to take action on that. And I think not just on International Women's Day, but every day we need to be drawing attention to this and saying that, you know, we need to do better as a country.
I see you're holding bread and roses here. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. It stems from a strike in 1912 for women's rights in the labor movement, and it is the bread represents the right to earn a living that feeds your family, and the roses are representative of the dignity to enjoy a standard of living that you work for.
Spirit of the wind, breathe in me. Spirit of the sun, rekindle our flame. Spirit of the rain, fill our dry and deep recesses. Spirit of the land, raise me again.
It's one of the many things that makes me love my community so much is that we get to march down White Avenue every International Women's Day and remind people of the rights of women and the fact that we still have a long way to go. Now, many of you know that just a few days ago a study came out which confirmed that in fact in Alberta we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. And the wage gap between men and women in Alberta is growing. Today we march and we refortify because we have a bit of an extra energy burst, I think, that we need to prepare for over the course of the next little while. And so today let's be with friends and with our sisters and with our brothers and talk about our shared values and our shared hopes and aspirations for equality and for each other in this province going forward. And tomorrow let's roll up our sleeves and get ready for a good, solid, victorious fight that we have ahead of us.
Our next model is Sajida. And she's wearing a beautiful headpiece with amazing embroidery, green and red.
So the purpose of the bazaar pretty much is to educate people about, what's happening in Palestine, but to do it in kind of a more fun way. So you come out, experience the culture, the music, the food, the art. Just come out with your family, have a good time, and see that Palestine is more than the politics that you see on TV.
But there are some political things here as well. Is there a particular message that you're trying to communicate to Edmontonians who maybe aren't aware of some of the issues?
Well, I don't think there's anything that's necessarily political. I mean, with Palestine, it's hard to really separate the politics, right? Because it is so ingrained into the culture. But I think the whole point that we would try and get across is that there's a lot more to it than what you see on mainstream media, right? Because, they kind of perpetuate the same stereotypes, the same narrative over and over again. So it's just come out and see what it's actually about.
From you, yet another tank. From us, stones. From you, tear gas. From us, rain. Above us, above you, our sky and air. So take your share of our blood and be gone. Go to a dancing party and be gone.
Oh yeah, where are you from? Oh, okay.
Silence!
Kill the bill! 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 Kill the bill!
This government is fear-mongering and fundraising. Bill C-51 is not the way to protect Canadians. A strong Canada is a Canada that puts priority on respecting freedoms, not violating them. If we allow our government to say people who stand up for their charter freedoms are the enemy, the terrorists win. That must not happen.
Here we stand today addressing yet another suite of legislation, and one that now promotes fear. Promoting fear. And as First Nations people, we've known about that since the time that this government came to be. We helped this country, we helped build this country on the freedom and fundamental rights of every person born into this nation state that we call Canada. We also know all about how those rights to freedom have been abused and ignored. And now this government has turned on its own, and it's your choice how much you're willing to give up. Over 100 years after treaty was entered into, here we stand, still fighting for the very freedoms we helped build this country on. And this bill says that if you jeopardize the economic or financial stability of Canada through protest, you can be deemed a criminal. And this is clear demonstration that the government fears the voice of reason so much. So much so that if you open your mouth or act in the betterment of the rights of nature and basic human rights, you can and will be labeled a security threat.
We stand in solidarity with you because this bill is an attack on our workers' rights, and that is a problem. This bill is vague, and vague bills make bad law. But that's what this government does, and so people don't notice. And yes, this is an attack not only on minorities, but this is an attack on the majority. And so I'm glad you are here to have your voices heard. This government wants to frame this as if we are with them or we are terrorists, and that is an insult on this democracy. This bill aims to demonize the rights that workers have fought for, which includes job action, striking, the right to organize. RCMP and CSIS in the past have targeted not only the labor movement, but its leaders by getting information from them and then turning it against us. It is our right to unionize, and it is our right to stand up for that. So I stand here with my Muslim sisters, and I stand here with my Aboriginal sisters, and I stand here with all of you to say enough is enough. This is an attack not only on workers, this is an attack on democracy. tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.